Guys, check this out. It's gonna be pretty fun. Sometimes things don't work the way you want it to work, right? Drag this in here. Now, normally what you see is, like you see me on the right, I was looking at this, and I was reacting to Snnui's video. You can see I'm talking, but if I press play, you can hear Snnuy. Most of the time, if you guys ever complain, most of the time for some reason it doesn't pick up the actual audio that well. But this is me talking. As you can see, I'm a very good ventriloquist. Yeah, for some reason my mic was muted. So it's weird because I haven't done like a video or anything like that. Sorry, I haven't turned off my computer, and maybe that's what happened. Like, I don't know, OBS just does weird, stupid stuff. Like, it just muted my microphone, and I had to literally just unplug it and plug it back in. But since that was the case, I have to basically redo my reaction to the video. But I'm actually not going to do that. What I'm going to do is find, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to play the video, give my commentary on it, and then I kind of want to look into a little bit of what Snnuy says. And then I also see, now that I'm backed out, I was only 8 minutes into his video, but most of it was him watching the video, and then, which we're gonna do together. And then I kind of want to dig into Netcrit as well, because Netcrit not only covers like the lore of a lot of Riot stuff, but I'm kind of interested to see also what he feels about it. So let's go to the OG video, so we'll just watch that together. Oh, an IGN official. Why is IGN? That's so funny. It's a card game. All right, so I'm kind of curious to look here now that I'm aware of things, right? Not the Victor card with the OG splash art after the rework situation. We have Runeterra at home. Oh man, hope these cards are prototypes. They don't look very collectible, but rather cheap. I kind of want to say, man, it'd be wonderful if this had an online version, maybe one that was like an online app that had all the champions as cards with sets of other cards that could be played with the design for them, like based around the regions. And if you use 2 or those regions to make a deck, then it gives you so many deck building opportunities. Or what if they had a PvE game mode where you can use a standard deck of cards built around a champion and give them powers to make you stronger? I wonder what we would call it. Well, if it has Legends or League in it, the Runeterra Legends, you could put everything into that. Yeah, yeah. So it looks like it's getting like a someone low-key a slap in the face. Like, yeah, Project K stands for Kill Legend. That's that great. So it's just so we're gonna watch the video here. I actually be interested if Spicy Toast reacts to it as well. But let's just look at it so you guys can see what I think about it.
Executive producer on Project K.
Hey folks, I'm Dave, game director for Project K.
So my issue that I had is that you'll see a lot of people in this video, right? It's like, I remember him, like he was part of one of the things, and that was kind of one of my gripes, is that it looks like they pulled people off of the team, right?
We're excited to be bringing a brand new physical TCG, or trading card game, into the world. And our team has been working hard at getting it ready for launch.
It's our privilege to make a League IP game that we think deeply serves the need of a different kind of audience. Players who want to connect across the table and immerse themselves in the gameplay, setting, and characters that they love. That's us in the dev team too. Project K is not a physical version of the fantastic Legends of Runeterra, but it does inherit some of the rich champion design philosophies of lore.
Inherit is kind of strong on that, you know what I'm saying? Inherit's kind of crazy.
It also benefits from incredible.
Like they changed the names of some of the cards. They different, like they're gonna probably use the skin lines for stuff. Like they're gonna be reusing the art. Like it's clear.
Art drawn from all over the Runeterra IP.
It also benefits from the incredible art drawn from all over the Runeterra IP. So Runeterra IP, because it's not even like the League, like we're not like,
and other League IP games.
And other League IP games. So they'll probably be taking splash art from like the other skin lines.
Each of the champions has obviously a thematic that kind of goes along with them. I'm playing the Victor deck right now, which is really oriented around assembling a lot of very small units and trying to give them power spikes.
I'm playing Volibear. I wouldn't call this a finesse hand. This is just like, how do I go in and just punch everybody in the face? So it's fun.
So I am playing a Yasuo Calm Chaos deck. He's chilling, but also stirring things up a little bit.
I am playing a Jinx Fury Chaos Tempo aggro deck. Pretty much.
Like, I think I'm a gameplay kind of guy. So like, I hate videos like this, more specifically because I was like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Like, especially in card games, it's already hard enough to like if you just showed me like a real quick video, like if I were to just think about like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Because Yu-Gi-Oh gets really complicated, right? Like, first you just show me what that kind of looks like. You don't have to even give me terms, right? Like just show me like, okay, this is how you start, you summon this. Now, I know that they're eventually going to do that, right? Probably closer to its launch, right? But like, just kind of give me an idea, like, because right now, all you're telling me is the kind of the same stuff. Like for a Runeterra person, it's not that bad. I'm assuming when you're saying Chaos, Fury, you're using like some of the terms from the game. It's like, okay, you're probably, I saw discard, but like, what does discard mean in this game? And for a person that doesn't know card games at all, like, what do you mean by discard? Like, you just, like, how does that work? Like, it's like, it just seems a little weird to me to have like so many terms in the thing. Like, he's chilling, but he's doing a little bit of stuff, and I'm doing like ramp volley. I'm like, what does that mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, what? But I know from Runeterra what that means, but you're saying it's not Runeterra.
Pretty much
So
just cause as much mayhem as possible.
You have 4 points.
Take it down.
No. So much.
Well, we aimed
like, when I look at this, I see magic, right? Like, I was saying in the recording where I wasn't saying anything technically, is that I used to play Magic a lot. I used to play it. It was kind of one of the more like, I played physical Yu-Gi-Oh, and then the Magic card came out, and I played the online versions, the ones that they would drop every year. That's the ones that I used to play, and I loved that. It was so good because it was a small condensed little thing, and then it was to me it was better because I can just learn that little set, and like, you engage yourself on that set like heavily. But one of the things that I find that's very interesting is that, like, it kind of reminds me of this. Like, it's like you see the blue here, this guy's turned to the side, like the tapping, looks like a tapping. He has, I don't know if this is the powers. He has green over here. He has a blue deck. This looks like discard. And then there's stuff in the middle. And then there's like, I think like placemats also kind of help out. Like, so like, cause they're kind of not playing without placemats. So I don't know. It looks like the upper left-hand corner is where your champion person is. So that's, I can't even tell who the hell that is. But his upper left is like 2 things. Like, do you only get to play 1 champion person? I think that, doesn't Magic have something like that? Like, it's the RuneScaper person, Planeswalker or something like that. I forgot what the hell they call it. But I feel like it's like similar to that system, right?
the game squarely at tryhards like us who want to sweat it out in competitive 1v1s. Starting Fresh also let us design it from the ground up to support multiplayer. Whether your jam is team 2v2 battles or free-for-alls, a way to relax with friends or go all in on.
And it's weird because isn't this like the Bilgewater music also? Like
alliances, backstabbing, and betrayals. We think we've created the best social TC all in on alliances.
Like, and that's another thing that I don't understand the purpose of that too. Go all in on alliance, backstabbing, and betrayals. Like, there could be a fun aspect to that. I just don't know what that would do. Like, in a game of Monopoly, right? Everyone's kind of playing their own kind of thing. Like, you don't really set up alliances, but you might have to do trades and like kind of do a trade with someone else so both people benefit, right? If you guys know how Monopoly works. I'm a Monopoly master, by the way. But if it's not like that, like if you're not playing along that, like that's not what you're doing. So like my question would then be like, what do you mean by like an alliance or backstabbing or pretending to be someone's friend and then start attacking them or something like that? What do you get out of that? I don't know. Without the thing in the game, like that seems like a cool concept, but it's kind of like the same thing if I created a game right now and told you guys that it's gonna have all this fun stuff, but I don't even know how the core game works. I feel like it's not as effective.
Backstabbing and betrayals. We think we've created the best social TCG out there and something you will really enjoy.
You can play it 1v1 for sure, but I like actually filling the table and having multiple friends be able to play. It's more enjoyable, makes it more dynamic, and it makes it more...
Like, and it's kind of crazy how big the hands are, right? Like a huge hand. And it looks like that's somewhat common, I think. I don't know, unless like I said, Jinx, you're having like the discard hand similar to the game. Another thing that I've realized is that the reason why a lot of the times these games are not as great is like as older people, right? As people that get a little bit older, it's just a little bit more hectic with time. Like time becomes such a hard thing, and that's why people use online to just be like, yo, just boot that bad boy up, right?
Exciting to go back and play again.
This has such a good entry point for pretty much everything that League touches, but even beyond that, there is the now collectible element. And it has the ability to be so competitive, but also so, hey, I could just bring my deck over to a friend's house and play with them, you know?
But like, then they'll need the cards. Like, I think that one thing that's missing here is that like most people go to a store. They go to a local store that plays the event, and I feel like then they like kind of like will find friends of that. I feel like that just doesn't happen. Like I have a friend that lives in Florida. I have a friend that lives in Wisconsin. I have a friend that lives like 30 minutes from me. I have a friend that lives about an hour or so from me. I had like, could we do that? Yeah, but like the problem is that like you then have to spend that money, and you have to hope that your other friends spend that money, similar to like console games. But is it gonna break through? Like what to me, one of the cool things about like Uno, you know, like other card games, you know, Phase 10, you know, or just regular deck of cards, one person buys it and you're good. You know, having this guy have his own thing, and what happens when your deck sucks versus his deck? Like, you're like, bro, you want to come over and play? I'm like, nah, man, I'm busy. I gotta go fish my cat out at the toilet again. I'm not playing against that guy's Victor deck. It's fucking too strong, you know? Like what?
When we're just hanging out.
Organized play.
We also know that for TCG to grow and thrive, it needs the community around it.
This pissed me off, by the way.
As well. And that means more than just products stocked on shelves. It means having local game stores promoting the game, regular events for friends to get together, and competitions to show who's the best.
He loved that line. Like, I can't laugh. I'll go a whole day without like coughing. Or like hours without coughing. As soon as I laugh, I'm screwed. I don't like when games are already thinking of competitive from the get-go. This might be one of my biggest disagreements amongst other people, is that I feel like games fail when they don't see how the game performs first before like thinking about hold on, listen.
Not just the game or the store, but a whole competitive ecosystem.
Competitive
That's
ecosystem.
right. We want to have competitive play that reaches from the store level all the way up to national level tournaments and maybe even global events.
And I like his smug look, like, yeah, you like that shit, don't you? Yeah, daddy's got you on that shit. No, I hate that. I absolutely hate it. The reason why is just that it kind of like it puts those sweaty, try-hard people, and to be fair, those are the people that will spend more money, right? Yu-Gi-Oh! Like if I were to look up cards right now, Pokemon, all these card games that are like people physically still play, it's the competitive people that are paying for that, not the casual people. I don't even know if there are like can you be a casual Yu-Gi-Oh player? Like you could, and just like open packs and then kind of build a deck based off of whatever cards you get, right? And then you can kind of like invest weekly, maybe even monthly, slowly build up a deck. And yes, it becomes obsolete once they drop another pack, but you can slowly build up your deck and play your version of the deck and just kind of be happy with that. But the people I just feel like the games that already have competitive scenes, especially physical TCGs, and I'm talking out of my ass mostly here because I don't do that, but I just feel like it should be tested as a fun thing. Yu-Gi-Oh was tested as a fun thing before that. It was just a fun thing to do. People like the game. People like the show. Like, it just seemed like a more fun thing to do. Like, I just feel it's so weird that they're not, like, tapping into Arcane. Like, Runeterra is not performing that well to their own accord. It's like what they're saying. And it's like, okay, we know that information, so let's double down and then make something that looks just very similar to it, like a spin-off of it. Why not just do Arcane? Like, just do something Arcane-based. Like, you would have new art. you would have a new direction. It would basically be all on that. You can basically have expansions on different anomalies or something like that. Why go back to this Runeterra stuff? Like when I see Victor's old design, I just don't get it. And then you know that Netflix, because it was on Netflix, it's more wide known. So like when people see this, they're gonna be like, oh, it's like some other league thing that I don't care about. Where's Maddie? Where's the other dude that got bodied? Where's other Victor? Where's Mbessa? Mbessa probably won't even be part of this, right? Where's Rictus? That dude was cool. Where's all the Chem Barons on all these other people? Smeege. What is her name? I was Enos. Asia? I don't remember her name. I always forget her name because she doesn't talk, so it's kind of hard to remember her name. What is her name? Avika? Savika. Where are those characters? Silco. Like, there's not even enough Silco. I need more Silco. I need some more Cowbell. I need Silco. I need Vander. I need Jinx's parents as like a thing. Like, I need Vi, young Vi, Powder. Like, I'm sorry. Like, why not just do that? Why not just do that? Like, I just don't understand the purpose of this. Going into we're gonna make it competitive. We got all this stuff going on like that. I think that you're just doomed to fail if you don't give people more stuff of have a fun little thing that starts off in one way, and then you go competitive when it's been proven to be something that people want and they want to engage into it. And maybe they have statistics and numbers to prove that it will be. I just don't like it from the get-go. I feel like that's what ruined one of my favorite all-time games. I'll say it all the time. Evolve. I love Evolve. But when they started to just, we're going to make it competitive and have all these competitive, then the game did become competitive. And the problem that a lot of these companies, I feel like you will make a good money on competitive, but everything becomes meta. Once a meta is established, it is gonzos, bro. It is annoying, and it happens in Yu-Gi-Oh! All the time. But the thing is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a proven audience that wants to keep doing it. You're starting from the ground up, and people are going to get meta. If Jinx is meta, like I said, I'm not going to my friend's house if he has that Jinx deck. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to my friend's house with the Jinx deck. I'm not doing it. Same thing if my deck then becomes like it's, and then you're going to go to locals. You're going to take some time out to go to locals and do that. Maybe. But how much time, how often are you going to change the meta? Are you going to have a ban list? Are you going to or you could just make it that it's fun. Like you said, backstabbing, like competitive backstabbing. Really? We're going to have competitive backstabbing? One of the cards say ganking on it.
Invest in Project K and make it worthwhile for you to invest your time and energy into it too.
I understand that.
Get cards into everyone's hands as soon as possible.
For free?
But
I'm kidding.
We do want to ensure that wherever you live, you'll have the best experience from your day one, including that competitive ecosystem and, of course, cards and accessories in your language.
What that means is that we'll be taking a staggered approach to delivering the game to all of our players around the world. We've already found a partner who can handle all of the printing, distribution, and store-level promotions and competitions in China, so that's what we'll be launching first in early 2025.
So the first launch is going to be in China, so we're in early 2025. So we might not actually get the game in the US of A immediately. So we might be like second quarter, third quarter. And then they'll probably be trying to, and it might be that they also know, and they're maybe not saying it, is that they probably have statistically that the game will perform better there first. And a lot of times they, the Asian meta of like everything, people always feel like, did they take it more serious or maybe they just have more fun and they like to be more competitive? They'll probably use that as a springboard of how aggressive they want to be in the other regions, right? Because I think that, that is a decent way to play it out. And if it like completely bombs over there, how good will it do in the West? Kind of thing like that. That's usually how they interpret stuff.
We're working hard on finding more partners around the world and hope to share more details about our global launch plans in the very near future.
In the meantime, to get the word out, we'll have trial decks to play at the Teamfight Tactics Macau Open later this month, as well as a limited edition.
Later this month. So later this month, like later in December, we should be able to see what I want. Like what I want to see. How does a game start, be in the middle, and how does it end?
Chinese arcane box set for sale.
Can't make it to Macau? Don't worry. We'll also be taking pre-orders for the English versions of the Arcane box set on our Riot merch website early next year.
Nope.
Stay tuned for your chance to order one of these limited edition sets.
But I place her here exhausted, and I
Get
claim
the
my
8th
final
point.
point.
And this is the only time I think in the video that they really explain anything. And I place her here exhausted and get the 8th point, and then they say that she wins.
Well done.
Well done.
Everyone was like, this game was
8 points, and you win. Whatever that means. I just like, she's exhausted. Like, I'm like, huh? So it's like getting points, which is definitely different from Magic. But then it starts to remind me of the Disney game that came out. And the Disney game, and the thing about the Disney game is that, yeah, the people play it physically, but then it just got onto the, it's like I had the same thing. Like, you can basically play the game online for free. And a lot of people just started to do that. And then someone came up with its own system. People weren't collecting the game at all. They were just playing it and having fun. And I think that was about collecting lore or something like that. It was pretty interesting how they did it. I actually really liked the Disney card game.
We think Project K is something special, and we hope you do too. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you across the table, hopefully soon, at a game store near you.
Now about those set 2 card designs.
Yeah,
there.
all right. We should probably get back to work.
All right.
So that was that video. And then I kind of wanted to I had
Right.
and I think I was like at about 9 minutes, and he started dropping.
That feels the year because I'm trying to keep it as positive as possible because
There you
there
go.
are some pretty negative things, and that is that these cards, I'm just gonna say it like it is, they look like dog shit.
Bam!
This looks awful. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna reuse art, it already feels kind of cheap. And then you also have like this white border. I hate the way these look. I cannot get excited about opening card packs and then having this for like what 10 cards or something in a pack. I feel like it's just really, really bad. It's like Uno cards with a skin, man. It's
So like I wanted to look at like a little bit of how he felt about it, because I think it's been a little bit of different, like with everything. We've just been like the Runeterra just been getting pop 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 every 2 seconds. So I was curious of how he felt about it, and you can see I try to make my own card. As you can see, if you guys need me to make the English versions, I got you. You know, I didn't spell Volibear right. There we go. Put that B in there. Volibear attacking that ass. As you can see, 10 power, very similar to the card, right? 10 power, some font in there. It's like this is like, here is like a little faded, like a transparent kind of effect that they have. White background. I could make the red. You know, I'm getting close to there. My card's a little bit bigger, obviously, because it's my thumbnail template. But, you know, if I really wanted to spend some time tweaking it, I could probably make the card. You know, I got my Runeterra art ready to go. So, I think more specifically, I think other people might not mind the cards as much. But I do feel like it, for most of us that already knew that there was a card game, it's going to feel like a slap in the face. So, yeah, using that Victor is a strange move. I just feel like everything, like, make something arcane based. Why, like, leave that on the table?
It looks cheap. It looks cheap, and especially the fact that it's reused art. That's like what gets me. The fact they dropped this out of nowhere says a lot. What else have they planned? It's really strange, and this will, I'm gonna say this now, but it'll tie in of some of my future points later. I made like a couple of notes for myself, so I know what I want to talk about. But what's interesting is, and this is important, and I have a big doomer take that I'm gonna save for the end, because everybody's just gonna be really sad when I say it. But this switch, or not switch, some of the developers, the people that worked on Runeterra, are now on this team, and that happened in February, January, like let's say 10, 11 months ago, which I find really like strange.
When he brings that up, I kind of agree. That seems like when I saw that, it was like, oh, I used to work on a thing, and then when they had that big like sad thing, we were too generous, we were too this, and this is what's happening in Runeterra. They eventually moved off, and it was like, yeah, let's start working on this. Or they were working on it at the same time, and they said, just switch off. This is where Runeterra is going to be at. And then they started working on the card game. You know, so like it does seem like a little weird, like they were able to just take that art. I wonder if the people that, I mean, the studios probably don't care, but they basically like double dipped, right? They made the money on the card game, and now they're gonna try to make the money on the trading card game. And then on top of that, like it's just the same like kind of thing. Like I don't know, it definitely leaves a weird taste in your mouth, right? And I think that what you wanted, or at least what they should have wanted, was like a brand new, fresh start. I wouldn't even mind it if the cards look more cartoony, like a completely different. Like you want it to be like, oh, this is not like Runeterra. It's not. It's like loosely based off Runeterra, but like then make it look like it's different. Like it looks exactly like it, and I think that's like it's you're already starting with a bad taste in the mouth, and I feel like they should have looked around that, and they should have thought about that. They probably did.
Like,
but
how long does that mean they've been working on this? Has this been like in the works for 3 or 4 years, and then they're like, okay, now in 1 year, we can just start designing these cards and actually getting a set together? Because, like, when did this decision come? Were there people like that already knew that this card game was going to be made, and they decided to like cut people from the LOR team early, or get them in a know, like let them know that they're going to be switching, having a different job in like a couple of months?
There's another thing I also see here. I mean, I'm down for a fun physical card game, but I will just buy decks. I don't want to buy booster packs. And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people, when I was younger, we bought the boosters, right? But when you want competitive, people are like, and that's another thing when people are like, wow, people buying booster packs and, you know, that whole thing. Bro, people are just trying to make a deck and competitive. They're buying specific cards. That's what gives the cards the value that they have. Is because if Victor becomes like the top deck or something like that, and you need 3 Victors or whatever like that, or you need something like that, bro, no one's buying booster packs to see if they get Victor like they do in a digital card game. They're going to just buy the card. They're going to buy 2 or 3 of them. That's what gives the cards value. Like, that's the one disconnect I feel like from like people opening packs. They'll open packs because sometimes they'll get packs from like participating in a local or something like that, or they'll take their winnings from a local and then buy a couple packs and see if they can get a card at a discount. But when they're serious about the game, they'll buy the card. Like that's basically where it came to when I used to buy booster packs, Yu-Gi-Oh packs, and then like I found at the store, I was like, oh, I could just buy Fiberjar. I could just buy Cyberjar. Like, why the hell am I opening packs? Yeah, the odds of me getting it and opening a bunch of packs is like, you know, it is whatever without the rarities. I didn't understand rarities back then, but bro, I don't got no time for that. I'll just buy the card if I want to be competitive, right? Because those are the people that are gonna drive the game, like as they said. So like the whole booster pack thing is not gonna work out too well, honestly.
Slightly that worked before, and then they upscaled it to proper production. Yeah, so I don't know. I find that to be really strange. Anyway, I'll come back to that later. I think one positive thing, like possibly the best thing about this, is that physical TCGs right now are absolutely booming. They are huge. There is an enormous uprise in TCGs. Like with
I'm about to say it. Lorcana. And Lorcana is funny because Lorcana and then I think Shadowverse dropped their TCG, and I think One Piece also dropped a TCG as well. So it's kind of like they're probably trying to hype on that. They're realizing this is we're just bleeding money here. Let's switch and pivot onto something that is, and again, Riot has never been the innovator of anything. They've been the perfecters of things. They'll innovate on an already existing idea. That's kind of what they've been known for from the beginning of time, and I absolutely think that that's fine. What do they say? There's nothing new under the sun to begin with. So like sometimes someone will break through and innovate something, and that's why they'll be the best of the best forever. But like Lorcana, another good example is that Lorcana is played. I kept calling it the Disney card game. I didn't know the name of it. But like when I played Lorcana, I played it online. I think a tabletop simulator someone just created. They took the time to create and upload the entire system so you could just play it online. And then if you wanted to collect the physical card game and stuff like that, then there was an avenue for that as well. But you know, if the money's still booming, I guess, even though if there's an online client to play it, then it is what it is. So
Arcana, the One Piece TCG,
One Piece
especially, like I feel like the One Piece is so much bigger than I thought it would be, which is crazy. So
actually, he didn't. I didn't know how big One Piece was until I walked into One Piece fans. Like One Piece people that watch One Piece, regardless of the card game, they love One Piece and they will try to convert you into their religion. Like, yeah, so One Piece is huge. So I know that because I talked to so many One Piece fans, so I knew that the card game would be booming. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that the cards are super expensive.
Problem with those card games are like Yu-Gi-Oh! I think Lorcana has like a pretty good entry, a barrier for entry. It's like easy to get into, but there's not that many events. With One Piece, I feel like it's the opposite, for example. So because Riot Games already has like so much experience on esports and prize pool stuff and whatnot, which they are known to be extremely good at, I actually have like pretty high hopes that they'll be able to pull this off when it comes to like logistics and stuff, like having those events, having those card packs available everywhere, the pricing. I think that that's all like not something we ever have to worry about when it comes to this. So if they get it off the ground successfully, I think it's going to go absolutely, like, it's going to skyrocket. It's like I can never say, oh, this will rival Pokemon, because let's be honest, nobody can really do that. It might not even be able to rival Disney, like, at all. But this is a really, really big IP.
That's a good point, though. Like, League of Legends, in comparison to those IPs, like, that he named it, yeah, it's going to be hard for League of Legends to get to the epicness of Disney, right? Like Disney is, like, up there. Like, making a card game, you can even get, you could just give it to your kids, and then you have the adults, you know, that are showing it to their kids. You know, like, Disney's so huge, right? And then Pokemon, same thing. Like, you don't even have to play any. There's competitive Pokemon. There's just people that play the game. There's shiny hunting, and then you have the card game that's been around for like so damn long. I used to play the probably not properly, but I used to play the Pokemon trading card game as well too. So like, yeah, definitely these huge thing. I think that they can dabble in it. Absolutely, put their hat in the ring and just be like kind of out there.
But if they look like this exactly, and if there is no real way for collectors to get excited, I don't see it happening. These cards just look awful. Like, I'm sorry, I'll say this 10 more times, but I hate them.
I also want to know like how they're gonna do their rarities. Like, what is a super rare Victor gonna look like? The ghost whites, the ghost rares, and stuff like that. That's kind of like where the high money comes in on those. Let me see if I can find where he talks about his other post that he was talking about.
Like them play Pokemon, probably
right.
don't really.
He wants to ask the question.
I
think this would be good.
Like, one other big thing, and this is a big one, and I'm gonna ask you, Chad. I'm gonna ask people on YouTube if this makes it to YouTube. I'm going to ask you.
What up?
Do you have faith in a company making a card game after they have completely dropped and messed up their previous one?
Yes. The only reason why I say yes is because there's no reason not to try it. I guess that's one of the things I'm going to say. There's no reason not to try it. You know, you let people do it. Like, if you have the money to do it, right? You, like, Riot has, I guess, the money to do it. Like, there's no harm in doing it or trying it. But, like, is the game going to do terrible? I don't think it will do terrible. I think that it's the difference of them trying to make it, again, so super competitive instead of making it like, hey guys, check out this. Like when they used to advertise Uno, or like if I showed you like a Uno, like, you know, Uno has a jillion different versions of it, right? If they were trying to do something like that, like, you know, you just unpack a thing and then you kind of just go and everyone does their own little thing. Like another card game, like a deck building card game that I play is the DC card game. DC card game is a, like, you build a deck literally on the spot. It's one of my favorite card games to play. And if that's how they were marketing it, I honestly would love it. I would love if there was like, not that I'm, oh my God, if I showed you guys a DC card game, it's very similar, very, very similar. And your goal is like a goal that you set. You can, you're trying to beat a bunch of villains and they have a way to acquire power, yada, yada, yada. I'm not going to go into it, but I would buy that. I think that makes more sense. It's not competitive though. It's not competitive, but it's something that I can literally bring over my collection. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'll have to bring it up for a second. So the DC deck building card game, maybe I'll have to click in one of the links. But as you can see, this is like Batman. It's kind of small. Okay, I'll click the link and hopefully it like kind of shows it in a bigger light. I kind of want it to be a bigger. So like you see like Green Lantern, Aquaman, Cyborg. That is the champion that you play, and like it has a specific skill and a specific thing that it's doing, and you build a deck around it as you're playing. And like these are the little cards: superpower, a villain, equipment, villain. There's a hero, and they have locations very similar. But you have to acquire a certain amount of power, Like you can kind of see it here. It's very small, but like super strength. You play super strength, it gives you 5 power, and then for 5 power, I would buy something. Like it was. I love the game. Like you see, it's a 30 whatever minute game. And yeah, oh yeah, weaknesses and punches, and you're just using it to go out. Anyway, that I feel it's a very casual game. You can play. You could. There are cards that affect your opponent and things of that nature. But the cool thing about this is that when I wanted to play, I just take this box and I bring it to my friend's house, or I'm at my friend's house. He brings out the box. And we just play a set. We play a 30-40 minute game or something like that, and we could edit and adjust the rules. To me, that would be 100% fine. But if it's like I have a pre-built deck and like that, like I don't know if that works. So that's kind of a thing. I think it will be fine. Longevity wise, like it's again, like if it survives for like 2 years, is that like a failure? Like, I mean, yeah, because it eventually tires out. But I feel like that's still a good effort for them, especially for reusing a lot of assets and then printing it and then providing this. So I think it should be fine. But how long? I can't guess that really.
After what they did to Runeterra, like that is like such a horrible way to start a new card game. And honestly, again, I wish the devs that work on this all the best. Like, I know they deserve it. There is a big difference between Riot and the people that work on these games. Riot is like, I mean, I say the bad guy, but they're really just making like decisions that are smart for their business. But the developers, don't give them any hate, please, like at all. They are fantastic people. I know the people on the Runeterra team quite well, and I know they're just like they're giving the Runeterra their heart and their soul. And
I've always heard that as well too. Like the developers' jobs are just to develop a game. They're not really in charge of marketing the game. They're not in charge of like all those little micro decisions. Like if they make a game and it works, like that's what they're meant to do. They're supposed to like play test it and all this other stuff. So if there's something like functionally wrong with the product, yeah, that's where you would go do it. It's kind of like my microphone. You know, like my microphone, if it doesn't function properly, like as I said showed in the beginning of the video, then yeah, you can be like, yo, why? I could complain about it. But if I don't know that a Blue Yeti exists, or I don't know that it, you know, that has a sale or something like that, then I can blame more of the kind of like the manufacturer. It could be manufactured a little bit, but like who's marketing the product? You know, the developer already did their job. So I agree with Snnuy here. Like I don't think that, you know, if the game, you know, we don't blame the dev team for doing that. Now, if they're in charge of maybe doing events and then some stuff, which they could be, but a lot of times I feel like a lot of blame goes in the wrong places.
Only imagine that it is the exact same case with this new League of Legends card game. The decisions Riot Games makes are questionable and honestly upset me. So again, that's why I'm saying the company that has made these card games. You can't.
Yeah. So let me see if there's anything else that I want to address in this video. He made a really good point.
But just because things have gone down the way they have gone down, I have a harder time getting excited about this. If Runeterra still had PvP and PvE and that announcement earlier this year never happened, I would lose my mind over this.
I'm skipping a little bit, but what he also was saying is that like when Lorcana dropped, since there was no previous card game for Lorcana, or Disney didn't really have a previous card game, like not like a serious one anyway, you know, everyone was so hyped and a lot of people invested into it because it was like, this is the thing. But since League's first card game it's literally already here and already has been through a trial and tribulations, it doesn't bring that hype. And instead it's garnishing complaints, right? Like people are like, wait, what is this now? Like, what are you doing? What's the fallback? And I feel like they didn't fully sweep Runeterra under the rug. And now it's like, it's not even a card game. It's like kind of like a deck builder thing. Don't you worry about that. Here's the real card game. And you know, it's a little bit different, right? So I think I kind of have to agree with that. It's like, there's no like, oh snap thing. It's kind of like, yo, what is this? Like, you're reusing the art. Like I said, if it was different art or from a different angle, like if it was from Arcane, like if it was just different, it doesn't seem different enough. And I feel like that's the complaint there. I feel like that's what's so weird about it.
I would be like, okay, I'm dropping everything I am doing right now, every hobby I have, and I'm going to save up money so I can just whale on this.
Exactly. And then now the people that invest in, you know, there's going to be that buyer's remorse thing as well. If the trading card game is now going to be the thing, and it's like, wait, I just spend, like, I don't even feel like, I bought like the Relic, Victor's Relic, but I'm like, like, do I want the battle pass too? Like, I'm not, you know, do I really need that? Is that a thing? Like, I don't know. So let's see if there's any more good nuggets he has in this. All right, here it is. He said he saved this for last. Hold up. Also, I love this quote. I go to my local card shop. I play against a guy playing Nora Bard. He pulls out 3 cards out of his pocket and busts his elusive unit to 10-10. I jump across the table and beat him with a Yu-Gi-Oh deck box. That would be great. If like you had to bring your portals like with you and just like shuffle them and like put them on the deck. You could technically do that. That wouldn't be, it's kind of like having a side deck like in other games. You just have to have a side deck that's approved and it would make sense, but that's just really funny. Here we go.
Save this for last, but
talk to me.
That, Dr. Hanky Pie, thank you for the subscription by the way, has made that comment. I need you all to like strap in, sit down, because this is my ultimate doomer take. It is not based on really any information. It is just speculation. This is just like me being completely cynical.
I like these. Not because I want to be negative, because it's like, it's just like, it's not based on anything. It's just like, it's just a feeling. And sometimes it doesn't always have to be like this great thing. You know, sometimes that's what people will bite against. It's like, but this is, yo, bro, it's just how I feel, bro. It's just how I feel.
And just being like, oh man, what if that's the case, right?
Jinx and Victor splash outs already.
Yeah, strange, isn't it? Okay, so my most doomer take is that someone at Riot came up with this idea where they were like, oh my god, guys, let's make a card game for League of Legends because Lorcana's doing it, One Piece is doing it. We can do that too. We can print money. So they were like, okay, you know, let's see what we can do. And then they start looking at these cards, they start designing it, and they're like, hey, you know what? This is actually pretty good. And then that moment happened early this year. And what the higher ups at Riot said is, okay, but we already have a card game that isn't doing so well. So let's turn Runeterra into a roguelike deck builder. Let's shut down PvP so that it doesn't compete with this.
I think he's cooking. I mean, I would immediately assume that that's happening too, because it just makes the most sense. Anytime anything has ever come out that I've noticed, that's what Riot, TFT. Like that was the whole auto battle thing was popping, and they was like, yo, somebody go do that. Vampire Survivors, they took a long time to kind of come on that. I don't even think that they thought Swarm would be that impressive. It took them kind of a long while to kind of like really make it something, but it still came out and it did really successful. So I kind of agree. I feel like they usually, like I said, they are not innovators, they are perfecters. That is what Riot is. So I'm definitely excited for Legends of Runeterra, you know? Are you guys, that's what I'm gonna call it.
That is my ultimate doomer take. They shut down Runeterra so that it won't be competing with this. And that is like, that hurts. And I want to believe that that's not the case. I don't think that is really the case. You know, it is hard to say.
I don't think that's hard to say. I think that that's like, it just makes sense, right? Wouldn't it just logically make sense? Because you wouldn't want to have 2 card games. And why would I go get the physical copies of the cards when I can play this digital one that's super generous? And then they'll keep talking about, well, we didn't do the packs. And I still think to this day that the packs thing was not really the issue. And it could have been that they realized that they were bleeding money earlier than what we thought. And it also goes back to my doomer take, right? My doomer take is that they were hot cross buns lying. And I still to this day, you can challenge me on this I still think that they were lying when they said that PvE was the most played version of the game. That still to this day doesn't sit right with me. And I think that is because, and people were trying to say like maybe it's because they immediately go in there and then after they made that quote, then they started to change that like you get instantly thrown into PvE content like that Jinx thing and something like that. It was so weird. It was so weird. And I think that they wanted to push that on. I think that this game has been in development. This card game, the physical card game, has been in development for a longer time than we might have even assumed. Maybe once they announced Disney, maybe they were like, okay, we need to start preparing for this and start pivoting away from this because this shit is not really, we're not really selling here. We have some great art, and then that would make that the art, the art that they're commissioning have dual purpose, right? And also the whole visual aspect of it, like they could not like take screenshots of it, but like let's say like the set animation or something like that or something, they could have that as the like the rare art, like a motion or like set in the middle of punching something, not like the actual photo, but like a part of the photo when he's actually doing something, and that could be a good thing. Like Zed when he's splitting, what was it, the first when they first bought those skins, that could have been like I mean that's way earlier in the years of Runeterra, but I'm just saying in general, like that could have been like, oh well, we'll have the dual purpose. We already have dual purpose. Now we can like utilize that as the rare cards, and I think they started building it up way earlier than what we can perceive it. And then again, once they saw that there was success in it, I feel like they had it somewhere in their back pocket for a very long time. They were kind of working on it, but then they realized as Runeterra was going out, we need to pivot and start to do stuff with this. I would say like they announced it in February. Whenever they made the announcement that PvP is not the main focus, I think that's when they started working on the trading card game. And I think that they started to like kind of like have an idea of what to do with the art and stuff like that. So
but what if, Ryan?
He got like 5 minutes.
They really are as bad as we think they are. It seems unlikely. It does seem unlikely, but it doesn't seem impossible, right? We know Riot. Go as Johnny Riot himself. Nah, I mean, again, I'm just saying. It's just speculation. This is me being an ultimate doomer. That's all it is. It's not based on anything. All right, Necrid says, oops. In my opinion, the cheap look of the cards 100% goes to the white border. It looked like someone just printed something on a piece of paper they found at home. I made the border dark gray, and now it's a totally different feel. Yeah, this is a lot better. So,
I haven't watched. You guys want me to do Necrid's video? I will only do Necrid's video after a gameplay video. So like gameplay, then I'll go watch Necrid because this video's already gotten too long because I talk too much. But yeah, it's a black card. Yeah, the white border does make it seem as though like when someone takes like an image and it like has that white border on top of it and the guy didn't know how to get rid of it. But it also could be something to do with the rest of the other cards. You never know. Like I actually made my own card game a long time ago. You guys will never see it. Don't worry about it. But it's a very fun card game, if I do say so myself. But it was a stream-based card game, and it was about acquiring power in order to defeat an enemy. And depending on how much of your stream currency that you were able to put in, you would have a certain amount of cards. Now the cards were random, so you didn't know how much you get. So sometimes it was better to have less cards, and you would try to get a lot accomplished with less cards, or you buy a bunch of cards and deal with the oogie boogies plus the good things. It was very interesting. Maybe one day I'll show you guys that card game. But I made my own card game at one point. So like the different borders, sometimes the decisions that you might not know without playing the card game. Maybe the white border is good because like this is not the this is the legend card. So this is the card that sits to the upper left corner in comparison to the other cards which have different borders. So I don't know, but you guys let me know. I'm gonna cut it here. I like how Snnuy handled the video. I think that it's like he's hopeful for it because he really respects the devs and he wants the devs to do well. I, of course, wanted to do well because I just kind of like Riot and I like the majority of the products that they put out. I think that it does seem weird, like this random pivot into taking the PvP out of Runeterra, focusing it to a completely different thing, because even Lab of Legends and all that other stuff, that was a long ways to go. You know, they still have that 2v2 mode that was in there, but focusing into this multiplayer card game, and maybe that will spin off, and then they'll have their roguelike card game, and they'll maybe have that pop off. Who knows? Maybe Path of Champions will become a thing, and then they'll turn this into Path of Champions. And the fact that they call them Legends to me is also kind of funny too. Like Legends of Runeterra, or like I said, I'm just gonna dub it. I officially dubbed the trading card game Legends of Runeterra. I'm just saying, you heard it here first. If you see anyone call it that, remember who the originator was. Legends of Runeterra coming to us. They're coming to a theater near you. Shout out to Snnuy, the OG. And yeah, definitely, it feels weird. It definitely feels weird. Will I buy it? No. I'll look at the digital version of it. Or at least let me see how it's played, and then maybe I'll just get the first one just to have it as a haha, I have it. But I don't know. Feels weird. Anyway, if you guys want me to do the Necrits video, let me know in the comment section below. Peace.